Good morning, class. Good morning once again. So, before we dive into our today's lesson, let's take a moment and remind ourselves on what we learned in our last class about measurement. So, in our last class, we talked about measurement and we said that a measurement is the process of determining the size, quantity, or amount of something using a standard unit. Now, today, we are going to explore something that is all around us and it's essential in everything we do, and that is basic physical quantity. So by the end of this lesson, I want you to be able to state the basic physical quantities and their SI units. Now, imagine that you are baking your favorite cake. You need to measure the amount of flour, also required to measure the amount of sugar and the amount of milk. At the same time, you will also require to set the oven temperature and time the baking process. Now, you realize that all these actions involve measuring different physical quantities. All the actions, the measuring, the setting of the oven temperature, and also the timing the process of baking, they involve measuring different physical quantities. But what exactly are these physical quantities? Let's find out what exactly are the physical quantities. Now, the physical quantities are the properties of objects that we can measure. Physical quantities are the properties of objects we can measure. And here are the 7 basic physical quantities you need to know. So let's begin with number 1. So the first one is length. Length, the SI unit for length is meter and the symbol is m. So length simply refers to the distance between 2 points. You can have point A and point B. That distance between A and B is what we refer to as length. Example, we can have measuring the length of a classroom. We can measure the length from that corner to the other corner. So the distance between them is what we refer to as the length. Then number 2, we have mass. Mass simply means it is the amount of matter in an object. It is the amount of matter in an object, and the SI unit for mass is kilogram, and the symbol is kg. For example, we can weigh a bag of rice. We can weigh a bag of rice. Then number 3, we have time. Time simply means that it is the duration of an event. It is the duration of an event, and the SI unit of time is second. Symbol is S. For example, the timing, how long it takes to run a race. Timing, how long it takes to run a race. We also have another basic quantity here, temperature. And temperature is the measure of how hot or cold something is. And the SI unit for temperature is Kelvin. Symbol is K. Another basic quantity we got, electric current. And electric current is the flow of electric charge, and its SI unit is ampere. The symbol is A. We also have amount of substance. And amount of substance, it is the quantity of particles in a substance. Quantity of particles in a substance. The SI unit for amount of substance is mole, and the symbol is mole. Then we got the luminous intensity. Luminous intensity simply means the brightness of the light. It is the brightness of the light. Then the SI unit for luminous intensity is candela. The symbol is CD. Now, let's now explore a couple of these in more details. For instance, if you want to measure now the length, there is a tool that we normally use. If you want to measure a length, we can use a ruler, a meter rule. That's a tool used for measuring length. We got also a tool that we can use in measuring mass. The tool used in measuring mass here, a tool used in measuring mass, we can have a weighing balance. Then we have time. We have a tool like a stopwatch, the watches. We also have temperature. A tool for measuring temperature is known as thermometer. The amount of substance, you can use a tool like a beam balance. After finding the mass of that substance, we can use the molar mass in finding the moles. Then we have luminous intensity. Luminous intensity we use a tool known as photometer in measuring the brightness of the light. Now, so we have learned that physical quantities like length, mass, time, temperature, electric current, amount of substance, and luminous intensity, all are fundamental to our understanding of the world. They help us to describe, measure, understand different properties of matter and energy. Now, remember these quantities, all these quantities, the 7 quantities, can be measured using specific units and tools, making our life easier. So, that marks the end of our lesson today. So this is the assignment for you. Right, this number 1. What is the unit and symbol for measuring time? Which physical quantity is measured in kilogram, and how do you measure the amount of substance in a sample? And that's marks the end of our today's lesson. Let's meet in our next